Hello YouTube. I'm doing this video in response to a user by the name of zwemer100. The chap's name is actually Jason, and basically he recorded a video asking atheists to debate him, and to be perfectly honest, like a bit of an idiot, I kind of agreed to do it in his comments. And anyway, he asked me a question, which I'll bring up on the screen now, and even before I answer it, you will see how utterly bloody ridiculous it is. So here comes the question. Okay, well, to be perfectly honest, I guess I asked for it, didn't I? I mean, agreeing to debate a complete and utter fuckwit like this. And he's going to tell me now that I'm insulting him and it's not very nice and this, that, and the other. But to be perfectly honest, he's a fuckwit. He really is. He wants me to take 2 specific years and tell him exactly what was going on during them specific years and who was around. Yes, that should be really, really easy. I think I've got some notes that they wrote and left me somewhere. It's a bullshit question, and to be perfectly honest, I'm not even gonna, grace it with a proper response until you ask me a decent, proper question. I am not going to debate you, to be perfectly honest. In fact, the rest of this video is going to be dedicated as a response to another video of yours. So I'm effectively, attaching 2 videos together here. So let's continue with that.
I just want to talk about evolution and talk about 3 things why I think evolution's not true.
Okay, Jason, then let's hear it. Let's hear your 3 excellent reasons why evolution is not true. Let's go for number 1, shall we?
The first reason I've been thinking why evolution's not true is I think it's immoral.
So, evolution is immoral. Right, okay. I need to point out your first mistake there. You said you've been thinking. Not so sure that's such a good idea for you, to be perfectly honest. I really think you should stop because it's not working.
The evolutionary process has killed tens of millions of people.
I'm not even sure what you're saying there, to be perfectly honest. Evolution doesn't kill people. Evolution is just a process. It doesn't decide to kill people. Basically, if you don't have the advantage of something with a better mutation, effectively, is what evolution is, then you're less likely to survive. But evolution can't actually kill you. That's nonsensical. It's just kind of implying that it's got a mind of its own and it actually thinks and kills. And it's rubbish because it's just a process. And that's it. So you're trying to apply morals to a process that doesn't have any mind behind it. It's just a process. So how can it be immoral? And that's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you may as well say strawberries are immoral because some people are allergic to strawberries, and you could die from eating a strawberry if you're allergic. So therefore, strawberries are immoral. I mean, it's a ridiculous, stupid point. It's just absolute rubbish, effectively.
So I don't know how you can have any absolute respect for a belief that has killed tens of millions of people.
Okay, there's your next mistake. So evolution is just a belief, is it? I'm afraid you might find that all the evidence that has been collated over the years kind of proves evolution is a fact. I can get into this semantics arguments about empirical fact and this, that, and the other, and what's a theory, and what a creationist idea of a theory is, but evolution is just a fact. You know, get a grip, learn to live with it, because it's the case. You can sit there and deny it all you like, and you can just deny what anybody says and just stick your fingers in your ears and yell, nah, 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 but it's not going to change the fact that it's a fact.
There were millions of them. Many of them died in cruel agony, cruel death, without any national health service, without any health care, without all the modern amenities that we have now, and they died. Cruel deaths. And that was down to your evolution.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I've got the wrong end of the stick, sorry. Yeah. Evolution is immoral because it didn't provide a national health service. I can see your point now. Yes, absolutely.
The second problem I have is I believe that evolution's totalitarian.
Okay, Jason, go on then, let's hear it.
Have you noticed how Richard Dawkins and Daniel Dennett try to control academic discourse? There was one particular evolutionist, Jay Gould, I think it was. It might be a different name, but I think it was Gould, Jay Gould. And he's more of a moderate evolutionist. And Dawkins assassinated him because he didn't agree with his moderateness.
Well, being that, as I said before, evolution is just a fact, there's nothing to be moderate about. So Dawkins was perfectly within his rights to say why you're trying to be moderate about evolution. You know, I mean, you can be moderate about creation and alter the story slightly and this, that, and the other because maybe you think, okay, it's a bit far fetched. I mean, I think the whole thing's bollocks, but some people think some of it's true. But evolution, the evolutionary process is just a fact, and all the evidence that we've gathered so far supports it. So there's no moderate evolutionist. Evolution is just evolution. That's just how it works.
An atheist scholar, Nagal, philosopher, has been beginning to tentatively think about this evolution that might not be what it should be, and the atheist community have really treated him badly.
Okay, I'm going to assume that you're talking about Thomas Nagel. I can't say I know an awful lot about him, but from the Wikipedia entry on him, he does actually, say that he thinks that intelligent design is a science. So, yeah, the atheist community are going to think he's a bit of an idiot and, treat him fairly badly for it, because if he thinks it's science, then, to be perfectly honest, in that respect only, because he may be a great philosopher in other respects, but in that respect only, he's a moron.
To me, that's totalitarianism.
Okay, do you think that the theory of gravity is totalitarian? Maybe we should just say that that's totalitarian and we don't like it, so therefore we'll get rid of the theory of gravity. Then maybe you'll float the fuck away.
They say that they're objective people of objective science, and yet I can show you in Dawkins' book, in this book here, Richard Dawkins, The Greatest Show on Earth, this is a book for objective science in evolution, and yet he's talking about how he's been trying to interfere with schools so they don't teach intelligent design.
Okay, I made this point to your notes that, Dawkins is trying to stop it being taught in a science class, actually. And there's a reason that he doesn't want intelligent design being taught in a science class. It's because it's not science. It's pseudo-scientific bullshit. Like I said in my comment to you, teach it in an RE class, fine. But you can't teach it in a science class because it isn't science. Unless you can provide actual scientific evidence for intelligent design, then you don't have a leg to stand on, because intelligent design is just faith. It's just part of religion, whatever name you want to put on it.
And then the third issue I've got with evolution, I've got many issues. The third one is it's messianic. It's kind of got these kind of prophets today that are kind of like trying to spin a yarn that they're going to lead the world into a new golden age of intellectualism.
Oh yes, we certainly know you've got lots of issues. But carry on, explain.
But they're a bit selective in their history. They like to point out throughout history religion has done bad things, but the moment you start to point out to these messianic Darwinian fundamentalists, well, the world did go your way, it went your way in time of Russia, and look at what happened to the Russians with Stalin. It went your way with China, and look what happened to the Chinese with Chairman Mao. It went your way in many areas around the world in the 20th century, and look what happened.
Oh wow. So we're now down to the atheist or communist argument. No, seriously not. I'll let you, explain it a little further, and then I'll, explain why you're wrong.
But they're a bit selective in their history. They like to point out throughout history religion has done bad things, but the moment you start to point out to these messianic Darwinian fundamentalists, well, the world did go your way, it went your way in time of Russia, and look at what happened to the Russians with Stalin. It went your way with China, and look what happened to the Chinese with Chairman Mao. It went your way in many areas around the world in the 20th century, and look what happened.
Okay, right. I'm going to use Stalin as an example because I don't know much of the history of the other countries, but we'll go with Stalin. Yeah, Stalin was an atheist. So what? You don't have to be an atheist to be a communist. Two separate things. Now, yes, fair enough. Stalin wanted to get rid of all religions out of the country, but that wasn't anything to do with, saying that, nobody's allowed to believe in God because he doesn't exist. Basically, it was a totalitarian regime, and that's got nothing to do with atheism. If he was a Catholic, what he would have done was to get rid of all the other different churches in the country and made everybody be Catholic. So what you're trying to say is that these things were done in the name of atheism, but you do know that atheism is a lack of belief in God. Why would you be doing these things in the name of a lack of belief? I mean, that's just stupid. So yes, Stalin may well have been an atheist, but so what? I mean, people have argued that Hitler was an atheist. Now, I don't personally believe that because I actually think he was a Catholic, but there's question marks. There's no point debating it. Let's just say, for example, yes, say he was an atheist. Most of the people in his army weren't atheists. Most of the people in his army were Roman Catholic. So what's the point you're trying to make? It's a bullshit point.
At the end of the day, who do you think you are? As an atheist in evolution, who do you think you are? Have the audacity to say that you've got the ultimate truth and to try to tell everybody else that we've got to follow your way.
Straw man, I'm afraid. Yes, we're not trying to tell anybody that they have to follow our way. What we're actually doing is saying that you are not allowed to force your way on us. It's as simple as that. You're allowed to believe whatever you want to believe, but don't try and make us believe it as well, because you haven't provided any evidence for us to believe it. and it's a lot of rubbish. You're basically saying that we're doing exactly what you're doing, when all we're doing is arguing to say that, hang on a minute, you want us to believe that, give us evidence. And that's all we're basically saying. And the fact is that, like I say, evolution's got mountains of evidence. So I choose to accept evolution because it's a fact. Now, you don't have to accept it if you don't want to, but don't try and convince me that intelligent design is true unless you can actually provide me with proper evidence for it. Okay, well, that's it for this video. Basically, if this guy really wants me to have a debate with him, he's got to ask me reasonable questions, because that question he asked me originally was complete bullshit. But if you like this video, please rate it and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.